For the sake of time,
Yeah.
I'm not going to say you're bugging off of Ja Rule because
I didn't make no comments. I just said
right.
that's not the
But it
that's not the
sounded
opponent I'm
like
gonna.
you
I
weren't too
mean,
educated on all the hits that Ja Rule honestly had. But let's get into the verses talk like we always do. You know what I mean?
right. Represent for the city.
It has been released what the next battle is. It is another New York vibe kind of thing. And it is Fat Joe versus Ja Rule. Live from New York. Tickets going on sale. This is a slight promo. I might as well. We always talk about them. Tickets go on sale September 7th. I don't know when is
No, it's the
September
day we
7th?
drop.
Oh, look.
Tuesday.
Right now. It's on sale right now.
If you're listening to this today,
Right now. If you listen to it on Tuesday, September 7th. Now, if you listen to it like on the 30th, it's not a sale no more. It's gone.
Right.
But it's September 14th, which is a Tuesday. How are we feeling about this particular battle?
I mean, I think Fat Joe deserves to be on that platform.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting choice that his opponent is Ja Rule. I will say that. I think that's an interesting choice. Nothing against him. I haven't really looked into him. I don't think I was ever really a huge fan. But I think Fat Joe has done, I mean, look, a couple songs, but I can't say that I'm like really, really into Ja Rule. Now, again, I'm gonna just speak to what I know. And I'm gonna say that Fat Joe, and we covered him a couple episodes ago, but just what he's been doing as of late, and what it kind of brought up for us to dive back into, kind of like, the moves that he did to be able to share resources with Big Pun, all the things he did there.
Yes.
I think it's a great timing to be like, you know what? Yep, let's bring him on. Because that viral moment that he created about the price going up and everybody and their mothers just started using that tagline, using that video, about it's time to start taxing people differently, especially if you've had your moment. I think that moment almost created this moment for him. So I'm just really excited to see Fat Joe on the platform. And of course, I think, be interesting to see what the catalog is like. Because sometimes, I think with every single one of these verses, a lot of us have been surprised. Like, yo, I forgot you had what? This is crazy. Oh, I used to love this song. And surprisingly, that might even come from Ja Rule too. So I'm not going to fully go on it, but I'm just saying, definitely for Fat Joe, I'm excited to see that performance from his side and see how he does.
For the sake of time, I'm not going to say you're bugging off of Ja Rule because
I didn't make no comments. I just said that's not the opponent
like
I'm gonna.
You weren't too educated on all the hits that Ja Rule honestly had. Like,
no, look.
Granted, listen. We all know 50 Cent killed his career. We know this, right?
Murdered him.
And at a certain point, you look at Ja Rule, because of that situation, as a low-key lame. Sorry, Ja Rule. That was what it was, perceived to be. And then certain actions afterwards, with the whole Fire Festival, it's just not a great look. However, I'll do this. I'll just name a few. What I do question is, do both of them have 20 songs? I do question that. But if you got Always on Time, right? You got New York, right? You got I'm Real with J-Lo, right?
I remember that one, yeah.
Yes. Put It On Me. I'll just name 4.
Yep, I'm with that.
This is tough.
I'm with that.
This is tough.
I don't know. I mean, and I'm not just judging the music catalog. I know that's what it's about, but for me, I'm kind of looking at like, the overall career, the brand, the person.
No, you can't do that. It has to be about the music.
I get that.
Holla Holla is an instant win. It's an instant win. Now, unless it'll be hard if you put like that and lean back. That's a little bit hard, but they have songs together as well, so this should be very interesting. But I bring up, of course, the verses part because there was something interesting that Ja Rule said in an old Drink Champs uh interview, right? Um and like I said, we sometimes count Ja Rule out and completely understand. But I think what he says in this next clip really speaks upon, how do I put this? It really speaks upon the, when you start like your brand, you start what you love to do, and the comparison game. And what do you do? Like, how do you go around that? Because it's real, it happens. Um, and we just got to figure out what to do. So, this is
Right.
how his take on it.
You can't fit in when you stand out.
Wait, what? Hold on, tell me.
I was a young kid, not seeing myself as Ja Rule,
Right.
and being influenced by hip hop. So yeah, I went and got tattoos like everybody else was getting tattoos. Motherfuckers was rocking bandanas, I was rocking bandanas. But what I wasn't realizing is I'm becoming Ja Rule. So now Ja Rule is gonna be looked at and scrutinized different than just the kid that's on the street emulating his favorite artist. or
Right,
his
yeah.
favorite. You understand what I'm saying?
No.
That first bar, it's like, I don't know why it hit me because it's so simple,
Right.
right? It's so simple. But I think we confuse influence and our true selves sometimes. Like, I feel like we tend to always try to fit in. And the way he played it is like, because you stand out, because you're different, you can't just mimic the other people. We're going to make fun of you. So he was referring, for those who didn't know, he was referring to being compared to sounding like DMX and Tupac, right? And how he was speaking on that Drink Champs interview was like, yo, I love DMX. That's my friend, right? Fire rapper. Who doesn't love Tupac? Of course, I'm influenced by hip hop in general. So I'm doing all these different things, but because I'm different, they won't allow me to be influenced. They want me to be different. They want me to stand out the way that I do. So when I am influenced, now I'm getting made fun of. I'm getting called lame. I'm getting called a copycat. Whereas if I was just a regular smegular person, it's not copying. It's being a fan. It's being, inspired. It's nothing different than any other person rocking the tattoos, the jerseys, hat to the back. That's fine for a regular smegular. And I believe I wanted to go over this clip because certain people needed to hear that they stand out. Certain people needed to hear that, you are different and you're actually dumbing yourself down by letting the inspiration of the culture, of whatever your culture is, right, take over and downplay what makes you stand out. And so then people are going to call you a copycat. People are going to say, yo, you're the next this, you're the next that. Like, you don't particularly have your own name. You just a copy of that particular influence or that particular person. So for me, I'm just like, we have to remember we're different. We have to remember when we're starting our brands and businesses that we came up with the idea that makes it different. Yes, there's models that have been successful that we can look at and kind of study and research, but we have to remember our core reason of starting something, which was to be different, right? Which was to fill a gap within that particular industry, not necessarily to rock or do the same things, because we won't ever truly surpass those who stood out in that
Who started
particular
it.
industry.
Yeah. Especially those who started it. I think, for anyone who kind of runs and starts it with a trend, like they become the face of that. And immediately, he's right. And like, while I empathize with what he's saying, I think what I've learned and what I've seen and how it's been emulated from a successful way is, if you are going to be influenced by a specific culture, take the inspiration from it, but you got to make it your own. Right, you got to add your twist to it, that people can be like, oh man, I appreciate the creativity, right? And we talked about Tyler the Creator a couple of weeks ago, and that's somebody who, like, when you listen to his interview, he's telling you like, hey, I too am super hip hop, like I'm absolutely influenced by the culture, but I also recognize kind of like my own uniqueness. I'm someone who likes eating croissants and waking up at 7 a.m. Like,
Right.
he's just like so him. That me personally, someone who did not listen to his music or never listened to his interviews, I actually sat down and listened to the entire hour and was like, yo, I can appreciate both like the audacity, like just the aura of really truly being every part of you.
Yeah.
So I think when I look at, this clip with Ja Rule, I definitely understand, but it's a lesson that unfortunately is learned too late, because we had a big dispute, or really just a dialogue early days on the show, when we talked about J. Cole kind of stepping aside for not wanting to be a leader on that BLM thing. And it's because I feel like that's the difference between people who can see themselves clearly for who they are, and they can separate from who others want them to be. It's like, okay, nope, I get that. This is who I'm supposed to be, but if that's not me, I'm not going to head in that direction. So again, while I empathize with what he's saying, I just feel like it's probably one of those things where, the bus left you and you didn't really catch on to what was really happening, and how it kind of hurt your career in that sense.
Big facts.
Yeah.